А там Рэмбо стоит.
I'm sure that everyone in the world have heard about insane acrobatic water shows such as Royal Caribbean cruise ships one or the famous Cirque du Soleil, which is an incredible project. 4,000 employees all over the world and $1.5 billion estimation. Wow! A few years ago I had a partnership with Cirque du Soleil, filmed the depths of one of the shows and even pushed its artists off the platforms. Heads up, things didn't go very well there. Leave a comment if I should make a video about this, but that's not on today's agenda. However, no one knows of Cirque du Soleil's director Franco Dragone, although he basically created this unique style, the greatest showmaster. And there is his own show called The House of Dancing Water in Macau, which was made for a record-breaking amount of money, where Franco was able to express all his potential, without any limits. And it looks like it is the most expensive swimming pool with platforms in the world. Is it true that it costs $2 billion? Today I will show you the secrets of the most mysterious show in the world. How many giant mechanisms of decorations work without any flaws, and what artist's routine looks like. Why are they required to stay underwater for several minutes? And did anyone drown? How hard are the minimum tricks to get hired? And how dangerous is it? This show is a dream for many acrobats and divers all over the world, but sometimes it can be a nightmare. What happens if an artist gets injured during the show? Spoiler: a horrible case with a friend of mine. Get ready for one of the most emotional episodes on this channel. Please watch until the end. All dives and tricks are performed by trained professionals. Don't try this at home or somewhere else. Hey, what's up, water crew? My name is Jim and I know how to dive. Savage crab from Thailand. As you know, I came here with my family looking for a better life. While I'm waiting for the better weather to make more videos from the pool, I decided to release one about the House of Dancing Water, which I filmed 4 years ago. To be honest, it was a little bit rainy these days, so it's time to go to some drier location. Okay, it's much better now. So this video came alive before the pandemic and all other terrible things. And while working on it, I could feel the innocence and even freedom of those times. There were artists from all over the world happily working at the show, and the future seemed troubleless. It was a good time. Hope you'll feel the same while watching the video. But when we started putting this episode together, tragic news was announced. While working on another great project in Cairo at the age of 69, Franco Dragone, the founder of the House of Dancing Water, passed away. I feel it like a personal loss because Franco was one of a few people who really inspired me. Hope one day I will be able to do at least a tiny bit of what he was capable of. Thank you for everything, Franco. And generally speaking, there are a lot of personal things in this video, both awesome and tragic, like Natasha's injury. So watch until the end. When I entered the room with the artists, I immediately figured out that something is wrong with Natasha. I have known her since we were kids. We used to compete at the national championships together. She has plenty of medals from different European and world events. But what happened to her here? Her surgery costs $30,000, and the money questions are still in the air. Plus, the major issue for her is not only losing the opportunity to work here, but the possibility of losing her workability as a diver forever. We will come back to this part later. And now let's flash back to where it all began. How did I even make it here? As you may remember, a few days ago I participated in the world's first high diving pool opening in China. Make sure to watch that episode in case you missed it. While there, my friend Andrew texted me saying that I must fly out to Macau to see the coolest water show in the world, the House of Dancing Water that was produced by Franco Dragone. People think of him as the founder of the Cirque du Soleil performance style. There is a rumor that the Macau investors didn't mind to the unlimited budget, so they put in $1 billion or something.
What?
Letting Franco express any of his fantasies in the show. Of course, I immediately packed my stuff to go there. Is it even real that a pool can cost $1 billion? For those who might be wondering, Macau is not exactly China. It has a different government. It is a country inside a country, a separated city of casinos, and you have to get a special visa to get in. So please meet Andrew. He has been working here in Macau for the last 5 years. He is an ex-Belarus pro diver and high diver. He competed in the Red Bull Cliff Diving Championship and at the High Diving World Cup, doing the tricks I cannot even dream of, especially what he did in Dubai at night. Unreal. Plus, one of his main events is the Russian swing. Many people come here from all over the world to see that part of the show. I will tell you about it a little later. Since I'm in Macau, Andrew and his wife Marina, she also works in the show as an acrobat, showed me around. To be honest, looking at all the luxurious, I kept a feeling that I'm in a fake world. So much of everything, the lights, the decorations. But I can't figure out the main idea. It feels strange. All of a sudden here is the Eiffel Tower and an upside-down Christmas tree. Anyhow, I could make a 2-hour episode with everything I have filmed here, but it turned out it was not too much to say. I don't really like casinos, but here are a couple of pictures with the Eiffel Tower. And now let's go check out the most expensive pool in the world. To be exact, the most expensive water show. So why is this show so special? And more importantly, why does it cost so much? It would take me about 3 hours to share with you all the nuances what I got to see here. So I decided to make a top 10 most interesting moments about the show. The 10th place. The volume of water in this show is equal to 17 million liters. But the coolest thing is that there is an identical pool inside of the same building, just under the main pool. The trick is that the full occupancy of this show brings in around $250,000, 2,000 seats, more than $100 worth for each, 2 times a day, and it is almost always full, so the revenue is about $500,000 a day. It's a huge amount of money and the organizers don't want to risk losing it. But why the second pool? It was built in case the main performance pool water goes bad. For example, if the filters get broken, the pool will have to be fully drained, and it could take a couple of weeks to fill it up again, which means many millions of dollars could be lost. That's why there is a second pool there, which allows to transfer water from it in a matter of 1 day in case of emergency. So the show can continue and the owners won't lose that much money. Smart Chinese thinking, By the way, when I was booking my ticket, which wasn't the peak of the season, but December 6th, there were no spots whatsoever. I literally got the last one. The 9th place. Some of the performers don't come out of the water during the show, but don't worry, no one drowns. The show director wants everything to go perfect and doesn't like when the artists are swimming back and forth. Instead, they wait underwater sometime, until they have to appear in the show again. There is a scuba diving team underwater that provides artists with an oxygen source. Right after their dives, there are about 25 scuba divers waiting underwater during the show. And overall, there are 32 professionals who are responsible for oxygen tanks, safety and decorations. I'll tell you the details a little later. The 8th place. Russian swing. To be honest, it is my absolute favorite part of the show. Many people come here just to see those stunts. As I know, there is no other show with that many Russian swings being used. The tricks are very different, but most of all spectators like when the artists fly across the entire pool, almost landing on the opposite side of it. That's just breathtaking. It's important to calculate everything right. The other dives when the divers fly up to 15 meters also look amazing. But for me, as for a professional, the best dives are the ones with a lot of flips. Andrew is one of the best in it. His record dives are 5.5 flips forward and 2.5 flips forward with 4 twists. These kinds of divers are very rare. By the way, make sure to check out me doing some tricks of the Russian swing too. Also, I would like to share an interesting fact with you. When I came to watch the show myself, there were 2 strange things. The first one, the Russian swing stunts were cancelled because of some water system breakdown. So I only got to watch the practice attempts. But the craziest thing happened 20 minutes after the start of the show. All of a sudden the music shut down along with all the light.
各位觀眾，一輕微故障問題。
Later on I found out that it has never happened before. Although there were troubles with the electricity before, the technicians were always able to restart everything within seconds. And the greatest fact is that in 10 years of performing the show, that was the first and the last time that something like that happened. Although I didn't go to the casinos, I was able to get the jackpot, I guess. But I got more time to check out everything inside of the show. And it was worth a lot. The 7th place. The constant change of decorations. Even during practice, I was mind-blown by the fact that I got distracted for a few seconds during which the boats disappeared. 1 second it's pool and the other it dries out. but the motorbike ramps appear there instead. Then there are Russian swings that come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden the pool shrinks. Everything happens because of effects that the spectators don't even notice. How is that possible? Some of the equipment comes down from the ceiling. It is placed at the different levels there. For example, this ball hangs 30 meters above the ground. The artists climb up there, after which they and the ball are being pulled down. The other half of the equipment comes up from the water. It is still a mystery for me how the organizers counted everything to avoid traffic during the performance. The 6th place. Gym fitness test belt machine. There are about 90 artists in the show, which is a huge crowd that's supposed to stay in shape all year long. Otherwise it could end poorly for somebody. Plus no one wants artists to get injured. To keep everyone in shape, the managers developed individual training programs for performance and also fitness tests. I feel like I have never heard the words fitness test for so many times in my entire life. If you fail the fitness test here, you are risking losing your job.
Фитнес-тест – это боль.
By the way, there is another great athlete. His name is Dmitry, and he used to compete for the national team of Ukraine. Plus, he is an amazing Russian swing diver and a cliff diver, so the diving team here is pretty brutal. So no one comes in late for dryland practices. Divers and acrobats spend a fortune of their time here. It may look like they're having fun. I especially like this belt. It helps divers train new skills safely, before they have to go to do it from huge heights into the water. But more about it later. There is also a wall with an endless amount of flags. When a foreign artist joins the show, his flag appears on the wall. Try to count how many different countries came there in the last 10 years. What a crew, as you know, my native language is Russian, and honestly I had a feeling that most of people here are speaking Russian too. Many artists are originally from Ukraine, Belarus, Kazakhstan and Russia.
Привет. Здорово, Вадим.
Слушай, я смотрел твой канал, точно, скайдайв.
Привет, что случилось?
Скажи привет.
Йо,
Hello.
привет.
Здоровенько. Я блогер.
Honestly, it's a unique vibe where so many people from all over the world work together in peace. Their major goal is to bring other happiness and new emotions. I have to say, it's a very hard job too. The 5th place, a huge pipe. When we were walking through different levels, Andrew asked me what this pipe is for. It's so big that I almost thought it soaks up artists from the bottom of the pool, like a teleport. But it turned out everything was much simpler. There is a part of the show with the tropical rain. So this pipe is used to get hundreds of liters of water per minute from the pool. And yes, I have a great view of the pool up there. We even climbed up the highest platform. There are many elevators and different ropes that pull artists up. The size of it all blows my mind. The building itself is about 40 meters high. There are 8 floors, plus 3 more floors underneath the pool, without counting the extra pool located under the main pool. Incredible! The 4th place, the salary. Is it enough for living? In these kinds of shows, the average income of one artist is about $4,000 to $5,000, depending on the work experience and the level of stunts. But let's find out if this amount is enough for living. A portion of the salary goes to living expenses like housing, around $1,200 to $1,500 a month. It's easier to share an apartment with a couple other people, but not everyone is ready to do that. Plus the food expenses. There are no supermarkets where you can buy things in bulk, so it takes a few trips to different food stores to get everything you need. Andrew says that he and his wife shop once a week for breakfast and dinner food, while they can have lunch in between the shows. The average spending on food for 2 people is around $100 a week, which is quite expensive. So, if you are a single artist who wants to live alone, you would likely spend half of your salary just like that. And if you want to go out sometimes, you probably won't be able to save anything. Andrew is joking that the artists here are in the golden cage, because their rights at the island are cut pretty short. For example, they are not allowed to go to the public pool or other public places, because being a staff you are not supposed to get mixed with other islands' guests. The 3rd place. The musicians are always ready. I must say, this show is a classy love story about a princess and a handsome stranger who tries to save his beloved lady from the evil queen with the help of his friends and the power of water. The music was written by the Canadian composer Benoit Jutras, known for his work with Cirque du Soleil, so there is a live orchestra presented during the entire show. The question is why, since the entire show is being played with a stereo version of the composition. And the reason is that in case an artist fails his stunt, I mean, anything can happen, and sometimes they have to redo it. Then the orchestra comes in and starts playing until the stunt is done. so every little detail is covered in the show. The second place. The show cost $2 billion. Let's talk about money. Throughout of the history of the show, the estimated number of people who saw it is over 5 million. Considering the average ticket price of $100, $500 million have been earned. If we compare this pool pricing with the others, the Budapest World Championship pool cost around $170 million. I wonder if there is a treasure hidden inside of it. But the building of the House of Dancing Water Theater is much taller and much more complicated from the technical point of view. The pool can hold 5 times more water compared to the one in Budapest. Plus, so many details were made exclusively for it. Even the costumes cost a ton of money. The most expensive dress here costs $40,000. But does it really cost $2 billion? Of course it does, because we are talking about Hong Kong dollars. And if we convert that sum to US dollars, it comes to $250 million, which makes this pool perhaps one of the most expensive pools in the entire world. The first place. Was the highest platform for divers? And where did Natasha dive from that she broke her leg so badly? You guys should know that I was dying missing the opportunity to dive in such a facility. But I wasn't allowed to do so, because I'm not a member of the crew. And maybe I didn't get to see these dives during the show. I got to watch the divers practice. You can start as low as the pool deck. The next height is 9 meters. Not the Olympic platform, but works just fine for the divers here. Going up, 14 meters, which is a training high for the artists, since they are required to jump at least 17 meters. And here is the 17 meters platform. Check out how the divers are being transferred up. I really want to try it. That is a serious high. You must be physically and mentally prepared for it. Plus, not everything comes together from the first try. Ouch! He's okay, I hope. But it's better not to smack. I mean, he still have to perform in the upcoming show. And that's not all. The platform is 20 meters high. Pay attention now. The scariest part. One of the artists decided to do a really hard dive from the ceiling. Her name is Rochelle Simpson, and she is from the United States. She is a multiple winner of Red Bull Cliff Diving Championships. Check this out and try to guess how high is that. Honestly, it's a rare case when girls dive off something higher than 20-21 meters, and this platform is 24 meters. No wonder why dives of this high are always being the finale of the show.
And now to Natasha's story. What happened to her and why is she still having problems until now? Last week she and I chatted over the phone and I was shocked how everything turned out for her. Macau, that used to be a party city with casinos going crazy 24/7, it turned out into a desert without the tourists there. All artists had to leave, and the show itself didn't just stop running, it was sold. And this is another legal issue for Natasha. You are going to figure out why soon. But first, what happened to her? You probably guessed that she had a bad landing from one of the huge platforms. No. However, the real reason is a very bad luck on the trampoline. She did an easy trick called Barani and got lost in the landing. As a result, she tore 3 ligaments in her knee. There are 4 ligaments total in your knee, by the way. So the pain that Natasha had to experience was nonsense. Andrew says it was scary to watch her. First she looked scared, but then her face changed to somewhat demonic and she screamed so loud that the entire Macau could probably hear that. Her leg below the knee was just hanging there and kneecap slid to the other side. Sounds like a terrible pain. A week later, Natasha was transferred to Hong Kong to get the surgery done, which was very expensive. Natasha said that the hospital from the House MD show is nothing compared to where she was. Her ligaments were taken care of. But there is a trick about the money. The surgery and all the other required procedures cost around $30,000. Plus the physical therapy doctors and staff that took care of the recovery process. And she was still paid her salary as the artist for the whole year after, although she wasn't performing. And of course a huge thanks for that to the House of Dancing Water and to the Dragona crew. But the other question was if she ever would be able to do her beloved sport again. By the way, the craziest thing is that Natasha signed the contract 3 days prior to the accident. If the injury came on 3 days earlier, none of these expenses would be compensated. She would simply be sent home to get better there. But now to the scariest thing. Workability loss. 1 year after the surgery, she was told she is fully prohibited from diving. Moreover, in 7 to 10 years she will have to have a knee replacement in order her leg to keep functioning the way it is. In case she goes back to diving, she will have to get it in 2 years or so. And the crucial part is that if Natasha leaves the show due to her workability loss, the owners of the show, the new owners, have to compensate her another $20,000 to $30,000. She will definitely need that money to replace her knee. And it turned out that the new company tried to get rid of her. At first they offered her to sign the papers saying it's her voluntary leave. Good thing? She is so proficient in English and didn't sign anything. Then Natasha's visa expired and she had to fly back to Russia to renew it, so she could come back to Macau and finish getting her $30,000. But it turned out that 2 days after she landed home, the borders closed. The pandemic started. After she left, all the hearings proceeded without her. The new owners of the show announced that the injury she got was gotten outside the training facilities. Of course, Natasha sent the video to the judge and she was told to come to the next hearing with a paper that says that she lost her workability as a diver, signed by a doctor from Macau. Looks like they're hoping she will give up because of the bureaucracy. What do you think about it? At the moment, Natasha is able to walk and even takes a bike rides. She works as a coach at the pool. Her performer career is officially over. She is waiting for the borders to reopen to visit Macau to get her belongings and to try to get compensation. Yes, what crew, I really hope this video somehow can help Natasha to solve her problem. If you agree, press like, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and what do you think about these two sides of working in a water show? Share your opinion in the comments, and please, don't do crazy stuff, we will do it instead of you. Take care.